charge me twice. We're just really hoping that the rope stands off. Okay, let's not annoy him anymore. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I hope we'll be successful with this.
We'll see. Today we're here with Lukru Adam. I'm really excited to share some of his experience. He's been a missionary here in Cambodia for about 2 years now, and we met through YouTube actually.
Right.
Commented on a few of my videos and found out that we were both missionaries. I took a look at his Instagram and he had scripture and all sorts of other things posted there, so I think that was a pretty cool connection. Then we got to chat a bit and obviously really love God and love God enough to move out of the Philippines, and you're here doing ministry. Goal for today is for us to have just as genuine of an authentic of a conversation as we can on camera.
Even with the backgrounds of the animals here.
Exactly, we're just totally in the Khmer countryside. You can see our lovely seats.
Yeah.
Nice, all natural. The goal is to help people understand what it's like to be a missionary here in Cambodia. So while I've written down a few questions, if we go on tangent, doesn't really matter. First off, why don't you tell us a little bit about what brought you here to Cambodia?
I believe it was the opportunity of teaching that brought me here, but one thing is that even before I've been praying about going outside of our country and reaching out, like just people in general, people who don't have Jesus yet. And it's just so happened that one of my friends contacted me that there's an opportunity here to teach in Cambodia and at the same time to the mission. So I think one thing that is certain is that God answered my prayer. Like He saw my desire on reaching out people who don't have Jesus yet. I think that's what brought me here. Yeah.
So that was your prayer in the Philippines.
Yep. Right.
That's cool. Yeah, Cambodia is probably like less than 2% Christian. Plenty of people that have actually never even heard of Jesus or have a lot of misconceptions about what Christianity is. Who God is.
Yeah, because like before, even when I was in the Philippines, I tried to research about Cambodia because I stayed here for 2 months already, like 3 years ago. So I also discovered that Cambodia has, really a lot of people who don't know Jesus yet. So that's one thing that I had in my heart, even when I was in the Philippines, to be used to be a vessel or instrument of God to let the other Cambodians know about Jesus too.
Yeah. Favorite part about Cambodia? What do you love about Cambodia?
Place, food, what? What are
we talking about here? It could be
favorite.
What do you love?
I would say I love the people in general. Well, there are people that I've met that I wouldn't say like too friendly, but generally I think most of the Cambodian people, they would like to be friends with you, especially when they know that you're a foreigner. I think, particularly like the videographer right now and the cameraman became my friend because I'm a foreigner. So I love one thing that I love most about Cambodia is the people.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. For sure. I really want people to have an idea of how mission work looks so different depending on the missionary and the context and the location. So for you, what does your weekly schedule look like?
Oh, okay, because I'm staying in Kampong Thom, and that's a province here in Cambodia. I do not have like the hustle and bustle like what's in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap. So pretty much the schedule that I have here is when I teach in the morning and in the afternoon, I have plenty of time. Sometimes, not always, not every day, but I have plenty of time to just go out and see the environment or the nature, and talk to people. And also sometimes I play some sports like volleyball also. I think it's very important to just go out sometimes and not stay in the school or in the vicinity where you're living.
Yeah, totally. So volleyball, is that like your favorite sport?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I think that's the sport that I can, and badminton at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite then?
I don't because I'm not good at volleyball. I'm not good at badminton.
I'm not good at volleyball either. But people play it so much. I see it all the time along the roadside.
Exactly. Yeah.
People just set up even just 2 sticks with a pole across, and it's a volleyball court.
Yeah. Although in the Philippines I used to play volleyball, but I think they have a different, like rules here.
Yeah.
I would say
there's a lot of rules that I have never seen before.
Right.
Okay.
That's pretty much the weekly schedule.
So a lot of teaching and then some
a lot of
free time.
teaching, but during weekends I would, like before when the corona is not yet happening, I used to go to a village where I do the ministry. Like every Saturday and Sunday I would go there and just serve in that ministry.
So with that ministry, what did that exactly look like? Like going to people's houses, like just chatting with people, helping people in any way you could?
Well, it's a home church. So we started with a home church because I've met the father of my student, and then we kind of agreed in creating a ministry. To begin with, it was about English class, and then it just so happened that there were many young people that had been gotten involved. So it's like, why not we try to make it like every service. I mean, service every Sunday. Why like maybe it's possible, and then it started in that. It started that way, like having young people just attending the service that we are gathering or we're having.
And it sounds like also, I know we were talking a little bit earlier too, that church concept is less of the service and more of that community of young people that you've really developed and poured a lot of time into, and you guys are definitely doing a lot probably throughout the week in terms of communication, just living life together too, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Beside the Sunday thing, like the Sunday time or gathering that we had before, I would go to the houses of my students. Sometimes I would message them, and then I would ask them maybe we can like meet once a week, not every Sunday, but other times wherein we can just get to know more or we can study more about Jesus, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Like it's sort of discipleship, I think.
Most difficult thing about being here in Cambodia?
Difficult thing. Well, when I started doing the mission here, I think other people would agree with me. Not knowing the language would be the difficult part. Like one of my stories is that after the program or like the service here, I would go back to my room and just cry because I didn't understand any. Yeah. So language is a huge part. Like it has to be learned before coming here if you're going to do a mission. Yeah. Although in my part, I think I wouldn't say that it's a mistake that I did, because I believe that everything has been planned by God. But if I would be given another chance, I would go back to the Philippines and study the language first before coming here. I think that's
the angry cow.
No, I think the cow just approved.
Oh, okay. Approving.
He said, yes, you have to learn the language.
It's so hard with language because you feel like you could always be doing better. I know I feel that on myself all the time. So what keeps you going in that sense?
Well, one thing on my mind when I was having a hard time about the language, the Lord brought me here for a purpose that's certain, and so I had this strong desire to learn the language because I need to relate with people, and I can't do that without understanding the language. So I think what motivated me to learn the language is that I want to make friends, and I want to relate, and I want to be used by Jesus in that way. Like if I know their language, I think there's a lot more things that I will understand about Cambodian people.
And then into that. Yeah. Big question. I'm so super curious. What are the similarities between Khmer culture and Filipino culture? What do you see?
Okay, culture.
Because to me, as an American, when I visited the Philippines and then visited Cambodia, I saw so many similarities. Because for me, that was kind of the first time I'd seen these like rice fields and this gorgeous landscape, as well as like kind of a family-oriented culture as well.
Right. When I came here, actually, I thought that I won't be having a hard time, like with the culture, because this is an Asian country, and I felt like at first it's just the same as the Philippines, but I think if you stay here a little bit longer, you would see that there is actually a difference between Cambodians and Filipinos, or Cambodia and Philippines. And I think it's the practices that they do, since this country has a different belief. So I think that's what makes a lot different, with regards to culture of Cambodia, is that what they do here, like once a year, and just some things about the belief here in Cambodia.
Yeah, so maybe like the beliefs and traditions, because we've got this Buddhism, animism influence, whereas there's maybe a little less of that in the Philippines.
Right.
Watch out for that. And what would you love to see in Cambodia in the next few years?
I want Cambodia to be a Christian nation. Yeah, that's really my deepest desire, or like deepest longing for Cambodia, because Cambodia belongs to God as well, not just Philippines or other countries.
Yeah.
So but maybe 5 years from now, I want to see, I'm praying to see here in Kampong Thom specifically, more young people, more Cambodians getting to know Jesus.
Yeah, and by Christian nation, you kind of mean like people who are living by the precepts that Jesus sets out.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Following Jesus, praising Jesus, and so on. Like understanding the Messiah, understanding Jesus.
Totally. And being like him to each other.
Exactly.
For sure. So okay, to kind of conclude, what advice would you give to other missionaries who are watching this and wanting to be a missionary themselves, maybe even? What advice would you give to them?
Hi there, everyone. Hi there. Lukru Adam. Did you understand what I just said? Probably you didn't, because it's another language. So one advice that I want you guys to do, or my proposition, is that you study the language first. Yeah, it will be a lot easier for you. Again, it's not a mistake, like me not studying the language, I wouldn't consider that. But as a missionary who came here and not knowing a lot of words about like Cambodian language, it really gave me a difficulty. So I would suggest that you would study the language. Yeah, even though you would say like, but I'm not going to talk to people. I don't think that's possible, because you are here in Cambodia.
Yeah.
Even though your mission is just stay in the church or something, I think you really have to study the language. Yes. And well, basically with the cultures, when you're here, you will be able to understand why is it being done that way. You just have to research about the culture that they have here in Cambodia, so that you would be able to understand the difference about the culture that you have in your country. Yeah. Like for Filipinos, I know you would think the same thought that I had, like maybe it's just the same country, but still it's a lot more different when you're here. So I think being able to know, or having awareness about the cultures in Cambodia, I think it would help you a lot as a missionary here. And the food, we can't do anything about it. You just have to get used to it, I think.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a few dishes. Though,
yeah, there
are
are a few dishes that you would.
hard to take.
And there are, well, they also have like nice food here, so it's just balance anyway. So you can choose the best ones that you'd like to eat, but it would be like a hard time preparing like food that you want to eat or something.
Yeah, you do have to be willing to be adventurous with food, because if you're a picky eater here in Cambodia, you're gonna starve.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that I've actually I mean, not reasons, but one of the things that identifies Cambodia is about the food, right? They have exotic food or something like that. And yeah, so with regards to that, when you get here, I think you have to just prepare yourself, and accept the fact that you're in Cambodia, you're not in your country. So when they have this food,
just
eat it.
Yeah. Totally. Well, I think food is a big part of any culture.
Sure.
And by accepting people's food, especially if you're at someone's house, that is a big way of showing appreciation, love for someone.
Right.
And I think that goes a long way in building relationships. The food, the culture, and the language really ties in together.
Exactly. As a missionary, you would really have to, be flexible with those.
Totally. So, what food do you miss them the most there? If you could have anything right now, what would you?
Although I get to have a chance to eat here the adobo, I still miss adobo, and just some other dishes that I used to eat in the Philippines.
So, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you learned something. If you want to be a missionary yourself, comment any questions that you want to ask Lukru Adam. You can follow him on Facebook. I'll put a link to his YouTube account as well. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned something. If you did, let us know. Catch you next time. Since filming that interview 2 months ago, Adam has become one of my closest friends here in Cambodia. We joke all the time that we're like twins because we feel like we have the same heart for seeing Cambodia reached for Christ. Adam would like to transition into full-time ministry in January of 2021. He's currently working on raising support. If you'd like to support him financially, I dropped a link to his PayPal down below. Even if you can't support him financially, pray for him, check out his blog, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm sure he would appreciate it, and I'm really happy to be able to share with you another brother who has a heart for the Lord out here in Cambodia. All right, pray po timpo. Catch you next time.